star programs and star shows. And I must admit I'm not a great fan of them, or more not a great watcher of them, but I have watched some. I used to be a bit of a fan of Star Trek. I'm a bit of a Trekkie. But something occurs to me that in a lot of them, like Aliens, Stargate, Star Wars, and some of those others, they're trying to get back to some very ancient themes. They speak of things like the Force. May the Force be with you, and the power and the source. And there's always the goodies and the baddies, they're always at war with one another, trying to get the good thing done, trying to get a peaceful, ordered society, even if it's a little bit more expanded than we have on Earth. This was also themes in the Old Testament. Their heroes were not as we have them in the Star movies, but their heroes were the prophets. Some of the kings, David, Solomon, were heroes. And then Jesus was a hero, and then some of the apostles and so forth. And we speak of the Spirit and the power of God. Well, really the force and the energy and the source are alluding to the same thing, because people are trying to understand what is there. There's something much more to life than we see and we experience. We call it God, Yahweh, the Spirit, the power of the Spirit, etc. And we still struggle to understand what these are. So in these things, they're using different names, different words to try and understand what it is. Our readings today really try to get at something of God. In the first reading, at the end of the first reading, it ends up with the words, "Apart from me, all is nothing. Apart from me, all is nothing." And this is God speaking. And that's the reality. Whatever is happening on earth and in the universe is all from God. God is the creator, the source, the beginning of all things. And this is what we're asked to recall today in our readings. Then Jesus has that story of, do you pay taxes to Caesar? And in the end he says, give back to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Give to God what belongs to God. Now Caesar is the government, society, civil society. And we have a duty to give back to government and society what is due to them. Because although we argue a lot about government and we think a lot of the governments are useless and politicians, etc., etc., but from that same source, we have water. Every time we turn on a tap, we have power, we have roads, we have bridges, we have airports, we have all kinds of services. Sometimes the services work well, sometimes not. But we have them. And we need to give back to government and to civil society what is due to them. So we pay taxes, we obey the laws, we observe the customs of society, we try to be a peaceful, normal member of society. We pay our dues. But we must remember, everything the government and society does is ultimately from God. So the power, the roads, the water systems, the service systems, the computers, everything comes from human intelligence, science, technology, and human initiative. All gifts from God. Our human intelligence and understanding and knowledge are all gifts from God. So in the end, apart from me, all is nothing. So we put God front and center. God is the force of all things. So in all things that we do, this is the centrality of things. And I know even when I was in Papua New Guinea and my knowledge of other cultures and nations, in those cultures, the people were always seeking to understand the same sort of thing. What is the other? What is the depth, the meaning of the spiritual world? Who is the creator? They call the creator a spirit, a big spirit. I often have a name for that spirit, but they recognize that there is something more happening. And in the use of sorcery and magic and many of those things, which are not all negative, they're seeking to tap into, to somehow to harness that source, that power, that force, as we do when we pray and ask God for things, when we pray to the saints and all the rest of it. We are trying to tap into something greater than ourselves for our good and the good of society. So all this is part of mission, part of being alive, seeking to understand God and the force that God is, how God works. And one of the amazing things about God is that God chooses to work with us. Yes, with us silly human beings. But God always chooses to work with us. So have a good weekend, what's left of it. Have a good time on mission, and we'll see you some more.